EA Sports. It's in the game.
You know, last year was everything you see on Sunday, and you know, this year taking it to the next level. What was sort of how were you thinking about it from a presentation standpoint?
I think you kind of said it. Everything you see on Sunday. So I think we forgot that it all has to play well together. We had banners. We had guys injured on the field. We had coach handshakes after the game, stuff we'd never had in Madden before. But what we didn't do was pull it all together with the audio in mind. And that stood out in our reviews, and it stung. It was like, this presentation was great, except they forgot the audio.
Yeah.
Taking a step back, we really looked at, this has to be one of the most important parts of the game, and we have to think about it, put more people towards it, hiring professional writers, guys that had broadcast experience in play-by-play, guys who have worked at writing other game stuff. Putting that type of effort into it and then thinking of it as a cohesive presentation instead of, hey, fire some random stuff that you would see on Sunday.
Yeah, when we were, we talked about when we were with John week 1 last year and how, that's sort of where game flow was born, right? But it was more than that. At that time, we didn't know what we were going to do in terms of our play-by-play commentary, whether or not it was, we thought maybe we wanted to go a new direction. Hammond was great, but did we want to try something different to breathe some new life into it? And that Bengals-Broncos game, I think, sealed it for you, didn't it?
That game, the Bengals-Broncos, it actually was one of the only ones that was down to like a final play, final drive. So John switched it over to the big screen. So we all got to watch it, and I'm elbowing everyone like, hey, this is the Gus game. Just make sure you give it a listen. And sure enough, that play happens. Gus totally freaks out. Call of the year. It's like, that's it. We definitely have him booked now. And so sure enough, we get back to the office the next week and everyone's like, "Did you hear Gus Johnson? We got to get him. We got to get him." So.
Well, and the great thing about Gus too is as excited as we are about having him in the game this year because of his level of excitement, he's just as excited about being in Madden. I mean, he's looking at this as an opportunity to really showcase his talent. And it's a big deal. Collinsworth, of course, is going to be back for his 3rd season with us. And the two of them have never worked together, so having them in the booth at the same time was really cool. For Gus, it was neat getting to meet Chris, the now famous Chris Collinsworth, who's the John Madden replacement this year. So it's a big deal. We've got a great booth this year. We're really excited.
So having that and the story engine, how that evolved, I think last year we took a pretty big leap forward in terms of the scenes and all the stuff that we had, but your point of just, we were firing stuff off almost for the sake of firing it, whereas now you've got this sort of dynamic story engine that you can build a plot line throughout a game, right?
Yeah, and like a good example is our pregame with, we looked at it, and Ian and I make fun of it actually every day. It's like kind of a running office joke where, we talk about how everything we talked about in pregame could have been taken off Wikipedia. Just kind of banal facts about stadiums or city locations.
Right.
And there's not that emotional attachment. So this year with story, we wanted to set up that game. Is it important? Is it a playoff game? Is weather really a factor? Let's not talk about it's perfectly mild out, because it doesn't have any kind of...
The plays have been pretty consistent. What's the line?
Yeah, that's the halftime.
The
number of plays were pretty similar.
It's just
stuff is maddening.
Pointless facts that really don't create any kind of emotional connection with the game. So first we want to set up that, and Gus does an amazing job of getting you like, I'm really here in a playoff game, or this is Thursday night football, or it's a holiday game. And then you move on to the stories, and we have, I think it's over 900 different like QB versus QB combinations. So if you hear Roethlisberger versus Eli Manning, it's going to talk about how they were drafted in the same class, or Breeze versus Manning. They're going to talk about last year's Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So there's all this stuff that it's not generic. Peyton Manning's such a great quarterback. Eli Manning's such a great quarterback. It knows they're brothers, and they're going to talk about it.
You talk about making it more immersive, kind of like you're in that stadium feel. I think what we did with the stadium chants this year was a totally different way of thinking about it. I think it paid off.
It was really a major focus of mine personally to make sure that we blew that out and got it right this year. And the chance of getting every stadium correct, totally accurate, and not just chants but music. We've never had any music in the stadium that's accurate. We've always just gotten our menu music and played it in little clips. Mm-hmm. But as you know, there's Crazy Train is played in every single stadium. There's anthems, Rock and Roll Part 2, Gary Glitter. You hear that everywhere. And so we went out and Phil, worked on licensing these super, recognizable songs so that playing your Madden game feels like this kind of great mix of being there as well as watching a broadcast, and that's what we were really going
And
for.
we even went to the next extra step of actually having the crowd chant to the music in
Yeah.
some of those cases, which is a really nice effect.
Yeah.
What's your favorite chant?
I like Zombie Nation. That's one of my
Listen to the
favorites.
song.
I mean, that's stuff we did a lot of research on.